since it's been empty, yeah. Oh, it was, as a kid, I had a chance to run through it. It was a lot of, it was REI before there was an REI. It was a lot of tending supplies and crap in the neighborhood. Me. Mitch, you good or you need a minute? It happens. We'll be all right. It's okay. Yeah, we'll be. They've been stashed back there forever. Yeah. But it don't work. We're okay. It's a short committee meeting today.
Good afternoon.
Hey there, brother. As soon as Mitch comes back, we'll get going.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. At this time, I call the Neighborhood Jobs and Housing Committee to order, and I ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Councilmember Gruber. Councilmember Smith. Vice President Harris is excused. President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to start with a report from the Land Bank. And after that, we will move into any questions that council members have about the information we received from the Land Bank. And from there, we will go to the business of the committee. So at this time, I turn it over to the administration and the representatives from the Land Bank.
All right. Thank you very much, Council Member. Good afternoon, members of council. I'm Eric Frisch, chair of the Rochester Land Bank Corporation Board. To my right is Paul Scuderi, executive director of the Rochester Land Bank Corporation. This is the Land Bank's annual report to council as required by Article 16 of the New York State Not-for-Profit Corporation Law, also known as the Land Bank Act. This is being presented to you today as we are required to give this presentation prior to March 2025. My goal is to keep this brief. If there are any questions at the end, I'd be happy to provide responses in writing. The annual report in front of you contains a list of all 25 board resolutions from calendar year 2024. Of note, the annual budget and finance plan were adopted in April 2024 as required. Our annual meeting was held in September, where we reviewed required reports that comprise the annual report. Audited financial statements were presented and approved, and we reapproved our adopted board policies and held our annual election of officers. As an update on projects, nearly half of our Land Bank Initiative Phase 2 grant was expended on the Land Bank's participation in the 2024 tax foreclosure auction. We anticipate closing on 7 properties acquired through the auction this year. Rehabilitation work is also underway on 8 other homes that were already under Land Bank ownership, and 1 more is to begin soon. The Land Bank is pursuing a new construction affordable homeownership project in the Josana neighborhood. An application has been made to the New York State Division of Homes and Community Renewal's Affordable Homeownership Opportunity Program, or AHOP, for up to 20 new affordable owner-occupied homes. The project has already been awarded ARPA funding, as well as funding through the ESL Foundation. The Land Bank maintains a property sales page on the Land Bank's website. 7 properties were sold through listing on the website in 2024. With respect to ongoing initiatives, we're in the 3rd and final year of the Land Bank Initiative Phase 1 grant, which the state maintained at $150,000 for year 3. The grant enabled the land bank to add staff capacity and support insurance and property management needs for its inventory. We fully expect there will be a new grant opportunity announced by HCR later this year. The Rehabilitate the Dream program is being launched. This is an acquisition rehabilitation program for owner occupants. Starting first with 3 properties, we're working on exterior stabilization repairs now to prepare them for sale to prospective owner occupants via the land bank website later this month. This is a partnership with Home Headquarters, which offers acquisition rehabilitation mortgages to eligible buyers. Purchasers will be required to live in the home for at least 15 years or sell to another income-qualified owner-occupant. I'm also excited to note that the Land Bank's Strategic Plan Development Committee led a consultant selection process for the Land Bank's new 5-year strategic plan. Consultant selection was approved by the board last month, and kickoff is expected later this month. Completion of the strategic plan is anticipated in summer 2025. The report to Council contains a summary of audited financials showing that the Rochester Land Bank Corporation remains in strong financial position and is now moving ahead with investing its resources in the various projects I just described. Lastly, as a brief description of upcoming activities for calendar year 2025, we will follow through with the Rehabilitate the Dream program as described. Our hope is that this can become a regular program of the Land Bank. We'll continue to be an active member of the New York Land Bank Association and will attend summits at both the state and national levels to ensure that staff is up to date and our activities are on the cutting edge. Also of note is that Land Bank staff presented at the state summit in 2024. The Rochester Land Bank Corporation will continue to be a partner with the city on our overlapping goals of affordability and home ownership. For instance, the Land Bank is looking at opportunities through the state's new block-by-block program and will continue to look for new ways to maximize housing investment and support for our city's residents. The report contains a list of acquisitions for calendar year 2024, as well as other properties, a list of other properties that remain in the Land Bank inventory, and those pending acquisition through the auction. A majority of these are in the Northwest. Lastly, we included a number of before and after photos, really nothing better than a picture to tell the story. Those before and after photos demonstrate the great work that the Land Bank and its partners have and continue to do in our community. I said I'd be brief. That concludes our presentation of the 2024 annual report to Council. And again, we'd be happy to respond to any questions in writing. Thank you.
I was hoping that you could respond to this question now. Can you talk a little bit more about the Rehabilitate the Dream program in Rochester? This looks wonderful. I think this is something that that you guys should be talking a lot about. So I'll leave it to you.
I will actually ask Paul Scuderi to give a quick summary of the Rehabilitate the Dream program.
Yeah. Of course, yeah, happy to give you a brief overview of that. So as our board chair described, it's an acquisition rehab program where we take some properties that the Land Bank has acquired and we get them set up for to be sold to an owner-occupant first-time buyer who's income qualified. The Land Bank will effectuate the stabilization of the property, some exterior repairs, the things that you would typically see, roofs, windows, those kind of things. We want to stabilize the property, and then that will then lower the rehabilitation costs that the eventual property owner will have to bear. Makes it much more affordable to them, and we can stabilize that property, get it in good shape from the beginning. The CDFI that was mentioned, Home Headquarters, they do have this acquisition rehab mortgage product. It's at normal rates. It's not any higher or lower than any other rate, so people are getting the fair rate, and the terms are variable depending on your qualification standards as you would get in any lending institution. Those folks get themselves a mortgage. They get a house that has already had a fair amount of work done, pretty big. If anybody's not here done a roof recently, the big ticket item of a roof. It's could be $20,000. Those costs are covered off the top. So somebody comes in and already has some of the big ticket items done, property's rehabbed, gets in the hands of an owner-occupant first-time buyer, and it's the framework of it looks great. We're getting started on it now, and we're hoping if these succeed, we have other properties in the queue that we can put into this program too. And as mentioned before, we'd like to have this be an ongoing kind of a rolling thing that we can do.
Can you state the name of the community development financial institution that you're using again?
Yeah, a home headquarters.
Okay, and they're located here in Rochester?
No, they're in Syracuse.
They're in
But
Syracuse. Okay.
they have a statewide reach from Syracuse to Albany to Rochester, Buffalo. They do work all over the place.
Okay, wonderful. Any other questions, comments? Councilmember Gruber?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the report. The consultant for the strategic plan, can you share who was chosen?
Go ahead.
Paul?
Okay. The Bronner Group was selected.
The Bronner Group, the folks who were doing our ARPA work?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I'm conflating the two. Yeah, thank you. Center for Community Progress.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And how many board members are there in the land bank?
Is there 7? Boy, I should know this off the top of my head.
Yeah, we believe there's 7. We can get a roster of the list. I'd note that Council Vice President Harris is secretary to the board, and Chief of Staff James Smith is also on the board as well.
Are there any board members who are not city employees?
Yeah, there's 2. Eric Van Duzen, who is with ESL.
You could just share the roster. I'm mostly curious to see if we have any private development expertise on the board, and if there's ever been a consideration for putting any private development expertise on the board.
Thanks. We will take that under advisement. We don't have any members at this time. We've talked about as part of our strategic plan, looking at the makeup of the board and considering modification at that time.
Okay. Last 2 thoughts from me. One is, as I tend to ask for any city adjacent body who's doing a strategic plan to just please offer whomever the consultant is, or please ask the consultant to engage with council during the strategic planning process. Certainly the board will make the decisions the board needs to make, but getting our input, I think, is an important part of this. And that can just all be channeled directly through the chief of staff. And then the second thing, and this is probably a question for Patrick, I'm sure to be followed up in writing, but is there any new findings in the whole idea of the Trump bid and land banks? I mean, I think this has been like a legal question for a while now, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair to say. The Trump bid's been attacked from a couple of different angles. There's no new updates suggesting that it's regained some of its former strength, but Law is happy to put something together in writing for City Council to give a sense of where the Trump bid is at.
But as it stands right now, your position is that the position is that we do not have a Trump bid.
That's right.
But not just we, I assume land banks across the state are trying to regain it.
I don't know that they're trying to regain it, but it's the unanimous opinion seems to be that the Trump bid authority under state law has really been eviscerated by kind of federal jurisprudence.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to just see some sense of where we are with that and understand the law as the law, but I think it would be pretty worthwhile having our legislative body do some advocacy with the state legislative body. I mean, in some ways, a land bank without a Trump bid feels like not what we all signed up for when we got excited about land banks many, many years ago. So I'd love to just see where we are in that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, to that point, Corporation Counsel, if you could talk about the item that we passed last month in relation to our workaround for the Trump bid, I think that would be useful for the community to hear also, because it is not as though we have no options when we go to market. It's just that, you know, we have to pay market price, and that price is determined that day when the property's for sale. So if you could just talk about that.
Yep, I think best thing to do is probably for me to put something together in writing for council that'll talk about kind of where we're at with the Trump bid, why that's not useful anymore, and what some of our kind of new approaches have been trying to keep the land bank as productive as possible, notwithstanding the loss of that Trump bid authority. So we'll put something in writing.
And if you could also include the item that we passed last month where we dealt with that issue. That'd probably be a good thing to do too.
Yep.
And we'll just go down the line. We'll just come down the line. Councilmember Lupian, Council President.
Yes, thank you, Chair Patterson. So one question I had was related to the new construction for home ownership. So it references in the report that we submitted 20 units to the state. Is that a specific project that the land bank has already identified partners? Is the land bank the developer in that, or what does that look like?
Yeah, in that case, the land bank is the is the sponsor of the application and partnering with a development partner to deliver that program of new owner-occupied homes.
So that project then would not have come to council to date. So this is a new initiative that eventually, if we get the money lined up, will come to us.
Well, it's funded primarily with ARPA dollars and seeking additional support. So those ARPA dollars were authorized to be allocated to the land bank. The land bank then works with partners to deliver that program.
Got it. Okay. I might have more questions, but for now I'm good. Thank you.
Councilmember Monroe.
Do you have any kind of policy or guidelines for window replacement when you're going through and trying to stabilize the houses?
That is definitely something we can get back to you in writing on, or I defer to. Yeah, we'll get back to you in writing.
Okay, thanks. And of course, that's around the historic nature. I mean, sometimes a house doesn't necessarily have to be on a preservation district to just have those extra elements that make it a little special. So, thank you.
All right, and if there are no other questions about the land bank, we thank you for your presentation, and now we'll move to the regularly scheduled work of the committee. So, introductory number 33, amending the 2024 budget and authorizing an agreement for an affordable housing rehabilitation program. Questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Lupian.
I have a question kind of about all of our programs that either rehab or build housing. I'm wondering if we can get a list of the types of programs that we have, like, you know, this one's affordable housing rehabilitation program. I know we have By the Block, but what are the other ones? And if we can get the demographics of the people who are recipients.
Yep, we'll provide that in writing.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I need a motion. Councilmember Gruber, question, comment? Oh, okay, so seeing no other questions, comments, or concerns, I need a motion and a second for introductory number 33.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 33, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 34, amending the municipal code pertaining to the city's sale of unbuildable vacant residential lots. Questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Gruber, followed by Councilmember Monroe.
Yeah, thank you. I certainly am in support of what's being outlined here, but I actually want to raise a larger question, which is just the idea of selling vacant lots, generally speaking, given where we are with the zoning alignment plan. I presume that there's plenty of lots that we've sold over the years that actually would be buildable lots when we have a new zoning plan. I think that's a blanket, but probably a fairly safe thing to say. Has there been any conversation of just halting the sale of unbuildable lots until we have a new zoning plan altogether?
I think on that one, be happy to provide a more thorough response in writing.
Yeah, that's fine. It may end up being a conversation to be had at some point. I'm certainly fine with that, but I would maybe like to have that conversation prior to the full council vote. I don't think it's a huge deal. I certainly wouldn't try to hold it up, Chairman Patterson, but I'm curious if we're selling lots now to people who we know are going to use them as driveways or green space, and maybe in a year they could be used as an ADU if it were in the appropriate zone. I think we would all rather see it be an ADU than a driveway or a green space. Well, maybe not everyone. I would rather it be that way. So I'd like to just maybe have that conversation before we go too far down this road. Thank you.
Well, just to that end, is there any thought to changing the size requirement for a buildable lot? Is that something that we are actively considering?
Commissioner?
At the present time, we are not looking at changing the size of buildable lot. It has to be at least 40 feet wide and 100 feet deep, or 4,000 total square feet. But along the lines of what was just asked, I mean, an accessory dwelling unit has to be accessory to something. It can't just be on a vacant lot by itself. So if somebody has a lot, they buy the lot next door, that would actually allow them to build an ADU under the new zoning, as opposed to it just being a standalone vacant lot where an ADU would not be allowed.
Right. Yep. Councilmember Drew.
Yeah, that's a great point, Commissioner. Just to, as a response to that, maybe what I'm asking for is not a halt to sale of unbuildable lots, but some language about what the ideal uses of unbuildable lots are. I think right now we sell vacant unbuildable lots to folks, and it basically stays like that in perpetuity. Not the end of the world, but probably not the highest and best use. And if there's a way to instead say, if you want to purchase a vacant unbuildable lot and use it as an ADU, you get greater preference toward doing so. I'd love to have a conversation like that. I don't think it prevents us from moving forward on what the proposal is, but I would like to see it be a conversation we have at some point.
Fair enough.
Okay. And yes, Councilmember Monroe.
Thank you. My question kind of is similar to Councilmember Gruber's in that I'm wondering, does the ZAP currently have a proposal for tiny homes and the space that would be needed for those?
Commissioner, I'll let you comment briefly, but may also be able to get you a more thorough answer in writing. But briefly.
Yes, we can certainly give you a more thorough answer, but tiny homes are included in the new zoning alignment plan, but they're not included as standalones. Generally, tiny homes would be part of a tiny home community, so you would have a larger parcel that would have some number of tiny homes on it, similar to what's being proposed over in the Edgerton area.
Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, comments, or concerns, need a motion in a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. So now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 34, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 35, authorizing a sale of 160 Clifton Street. Public hearing to be held on Thursday, February 20th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Lupien.
This is part of the Bull's Head project, right?
Yes.
Are there any delays in that project that you know of, or is that going ahead as planned?
It is actually moving ahead very well right now. As you know, the first piece of that plan was clearing the land and doing environmental remediation. The second big piece is the ESL bank branch, which is under construction right now, followed by this particular building, 160 Clifton, which will be purchased by developers and will be converted into a different kind of use. So those pieces are moving ahead very quickly. The remaining remediation continues, and then there will be additional construction that you'll see quickly.
Was there anything found unexpected during the environmental review process?
No, the normal things, petroleum and dry cleaning solvents.
And there was nothing like, there's no additional time added on for remediation that we didn't expect?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Gruber.
Just want to say what a huge win it is to have a project, an anchor at Bull's Head that already wants to bring a company from having its headquarters in Henrietta and bringing it downtown to Rochester. So this is a really wonderful thing. How many employees will that bring, roughly? That's
If you could come, if you can come to the mic and make so the folks can hear you at home. Please tell us who you are and the organization that you represent.
Hi, I'm Melissa Sukadolski. I'm one of the developers for the Bull's Head Revitalization Project and president of USC Builds, and the managing member of the 160 Clifton Empowers LLC. Currently, my business, USC Builds, has 117 employees. That business would be relocating as part of this project at 160 Clifton. We have an additional construction company that would be coming. They have roughly 50 employees as well.
Relocating from where?
Both from Henrietta.
Ah, lovely.
Yes.
What an absolutely wonderful thing to hear, and thank you so much for your commitment to the city.
Thank you.
And do we have any other council members have any questions, comments, or concerns? One question, and this is for Commissioner Miller. So how long has the Bull's Head Revitalization Project been in conversation in the community as one of the persons who started the conversation?
I don't know exactly how long. I started working on it in 1995.
Okay, so that's like 30 years. Quick math, what is that, 30 years without trying, folks? We all agree on that?
That's right.
Okay. So when we say it's moving along quickly, it's only 30 years. All right. On that note, I need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 35, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 36, authorizing agreements for the Remain Revitalization Fund for Main Street Program. Questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Gruber.
Thanks. This is very exciting. Can I just understand the mechanics of this? So the cities, it's going to be city NBD that's going to be dispersing these funds?
Yes, that's correct. We were awarded funding through the Regional Revitalization Program. That funding comes direct from ESD to the city. Effectively, think of it as a Restore New York program that that city NBD will administer.
And the uses seem pretty broad. So it can be a business, a nonprofit, a sole proprietor, anyone who has something that is quote unquote removing blight can apply, and NBD has the decision-making authority.
The focus, like Restore New York, the focus of this program will be on the revitalization of vacant or substantially vacant buildings, in this case on Main Street between Clinton Avenue and West Broad and Cascade.
But it doesn't matter what the applicant could be a range of entities. It's just about having a project that is transforming a vacant space.
Activating a vacant or substantially vacant building and not a government entity.
And NBD has the full authority, or this, I should say, the Evans administration has the full authority over what to say yes or no to, or does this have to go back to the state for approval, each project?
The state will authorize the program terms that have been presented here in your package, and then that gets approved by, or is in the process of being approved by the ESD board, at which point we are approved to proceed.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Well, hang on. Just real quick comment is, I think it's always important to say thank you when people hand you a bag of money. So thank you to the state of New York for the $2 million that we will have that can be used specifically for the revitalization of downtown. Just to confirm, these dollars cannot go anywhere else. These dollars are specifically for that range of space that has been specified in the transmittal. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So there's no other use. It can't go anywhere else. This is what it's for. So on that note, we need a motion in a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And so now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 36, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 37, agreement, Gardner Lofts Affordable Housing Project. We are going to start with the district council member for the old tent city, which is what it will be known in my mind forever. So, Councilmember Monroe.
Thank you, Chair Patterson. So first, I guess maybe with the easy question, which would be the choice of the name Gardner's Lofts.
That is a very good question. I know that this name has been around for quite some time, probably about as long as Councilmember Patterson can remember this project being discussed. I will have to get back to you in writing with what the origins of that name come from.
Thanks. I've always just called it Tent City, so it didn't set in me the fact that it has been called Gardner's for a while. beyond the income requirements that are there, how are folks from the general population going to be chosen, and how are veterans going to be chosen?
Again, we'd be happy to provide a description of how applicants will be matched up with units.
Okay, great. Is there going to be additional public outreach about the plan? I was at the Lyle Otis Community Association meeting last night, and obviously dealing with Lyle Avenue, they would very much like to have some kind of a presentation. I don't know, however, if actual public input is still something that's happening at this point in the game.
We can certainly pass that information along to the development team and request or suggest that they reach out and schedule a time for a discussion on the project.
Sure, that would be great.
So just for, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
One other thing is, could you provide me with just the list and the minutes from the public hearings that have been held on this project? And other than that, I just want to thank everybody for their work, because I know this has been a big lift and it will make a huge difference. I moved to Rochester in 1998, so I never had the chance to see Tent City as anything other than the paint that said Tent City on the side of the building. So unfortunately, I don't have any of those good memories of it, but I'm really looking forward to it no longer being a vacant. Thank you.
So just for the community's awareness, and I understand it's in the transmittal, but so that folks who might well watch this later can gather some information, can you tell us how many units of housing will be provided, the affordability levels, and whatever, and what specialized populations will be serviced by this housing is at least initially kind of aimed at? If you could share that information with the public at this time, it would be greatly appreciated, especially since it's in the transmittal.
Yeah, quite a bit to review there. So there's 88 housing units, and all are affordable regulated units with a focus on excuse me, veterans housing for I believe approximately half of the units.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I need a Council President.
Yes, just one quick comment. Having toured the building and talked about this project for a couple years, and I was exciting to see it get across the finish line. And anytime we have a $72 million investment into housing in our community, it's something to be celebrated. So thank you all, and kudos to the administration for helping get this across the finish line. And with that, I'll move it.
I have questions.
Oh, hang on. Wait. So, Council President, did you get all your questions? Did they answer your questions yet?
Yeah, that was just a comment, and I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Lupien?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. The appropriating of the 619 from a combination of 2013 and 2019 cash capital, how do we make decisions around when to pull out a cash fund balance and when to pull out of the budget?
We make those decisions as we deliver projects. From the housing side, I defer to Budget Director for any additional.
So these funds were already appropriated into cash capital for certain housing related purposes. So before we would look to amend the budget to budget any additional fund balance, we would use what's already been appropriated.
From prior years?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. So it's kind of like a policy that you do. You look for remaining funds.
Use what you have first.
Yeah.
Use what's appropriated first.
Great. Thank you. The other question I have is about the developer fee. Maybe I haven't been paying attention, but this seems very high, 10% of the project. Is that, I'm just wondering, is that average?
Yeah, I believe that is in line with expected developer fee for a project of this type.
Okay. And in terms of the funds that are being pulled out of prior year's acquisition funds, are they part of the 2.5 million? They are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Those funds go towards that total loan amount.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no other questions, I need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 37, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 38, lease agreement 900 East Main Street Armory. Questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Monroe?
What is the Armory doing? What are they doing with the rest of the space at this point?
I don't think we know.
It's yeah. I don't believe we have information on that at this time.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Lupian?
Yeah, I would imagine that the police camera that's on the roof had, maybe that particular location had to do with the people that were the use of the space, and it's been empty, I think, for a bit. And I guess, do we know if this is a permanent location that we want to continue to support?
Yeah, so I'm happy to jump in there. I don't think the equipment that's on the roof has anything to do with the prior usage or anything that was going on previously. The key is that because of the entirety of the system and where the armory is located and the height of the armory's tower.
So it's not like a blue light camera that's there because of, got it.
Correct. It's more like the kind of the backbone of the system, and we need it in that location in order to have the kind of broadcast capability that we need to keep the system up and running. So
That makes sense, thank you.
Yeah. So for the community that's watching, what we're looking at here is there's a bunch of radio signal things on top of the roof of the Main Street Armory that have been there for quite some time. And for quite some time, the previous owner was just a nice guy about it. And there was a kerfuffle a couple of times where things kind of got turned off. So in order to alleviate that problem, we are now paying the current owner rent for the use of his space, which is something we probably should have been doing all along, and we weren't. So that's all this item is doing. This is paying for, and this is actually paying someone for an installation that has already been in place for an extended period of time on someone's private property, more or less out of kindness. But now we're establishing and structuring a lease agreement, terms, payment, all that nice fun stuff. Is that correct?
that's accurate.
Okay.
The equipment was never turned off to my knowledge, but threats were made.
Good to know. All right. So on that, I need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 38, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Introductory passes. Introductory number 39 will be held in committee. There is no reason for any debate on this item until such time as it comes out, so we will just hold that item. At this time, I also bring back to the table introductory number 387 from last year, which is a land purchase option agreement for the Joseph Avenue Arts and Cultural Alliance. 31, and the properties are 31 Loomis Street, 49 Loomis Street, and 666 Joseph Avenue. The administration has proposed amendments to the previous item. You all have the amendment before you. Do we have any questions, comments, or concerns on this item as amended? We'll just kind of go down the line. Councilmember Gruber, any issues? Nope. Nope. Councilmember Lupien, any issues? No issues? All right. Council President Melendez? All right.
No issues.
Councilmember Monroe? All right. So now we will vote to amend the item. So I need a motion and a second to amend the item.
Move to amend.
Second.
Moved and seconded to amend. And now we vote on amending the item. All in favor of amending the item, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed to amending the item, please say nay. Okay, amendment passes. So, my commentary. I want to thank the administration for working with me to find a resolution so that we can allow this development project to go forward while at the same time maintaining the safety and security of the people in direct location of this space. It is a challenging space. This is an incredible opportunity that Joseph Avenue Arts and Cultural Alliance is presenting, but we cannot sacrifice public safety in the interest of just potential development. So I want to commend the administration for taking the time to work on this when we held it last year. I'm happy with the amendments as proposed. I'm very happy that that fence is not coming down anytime soon. I'm very happy that we are maintaining control of that space until such time as the developer has raised the funds that they need in order to go forward with the project. And I'm very happy with the fact that if they don't go forward with the project in a timely manner, even after they've purchased it, that we get to take that property back and secure it. So I'm happy with what's been proposed. I'm happy with the amendment. And are there any other questions, comments, or concerns on that? In that case, I need a motion and a second.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of the item as amended, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. And on that note, with there being no other business before this committee,
I have two things I'd like to get in.
well, hang on a second. So are these about just something specific in particular to the NBD?
NBD,
committee?
yep.
Okay, council member.
I just wanted to get an update on when it was anticipated that we'll get the ZAP before us.
We'll put a response in writing.
And thank you. And want an update on what's going on with the Cadillac.
Also in writing.
Thank you.
All right. In that case, we stand adjourned.
We're going to move straight into business here.
Yes. And it is a phone.
Yes.
Oh, we should be talking.
So at this time, I'll call the People, Parks, and Public Work Committee to order and ask the clerk to call the roll.
Vice President Harris is excused. Councilmember Lightfoot. Councilmember Lupien.
Here.
Councilmember Patterson. President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'm pinch hitting for Vice President Harris today. I do want to share a couple notes from her. So as we all know, our elders play a vital role in the community by sharing their wisdom, preserving traditions, and fostering intergenerational connections that strengthen our city every day. The city of Rochester has a robust senior population, and providing services and supports to assist them is a topic near and dear to all of our hearts. Council Vice President is excited and honored to host the Rock Senior Estate Summit on Saturday, March 8th at the Joseph A. Floriano Rochester Riverside Convention Center from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. This marks the third consecutive year that the Vice President has hosted this summit, and it anticipates that it will approximately serve about 100 elders in our community and several local vendors focused on senior care and finance. Since the first summit, the goal has been to educate and empower our senior population with information and tools to support them as they age. We are expecting our seniors and their caregivers to walk away with new information to navigate end-of-life transitions. Registration and promotional materials will be available by the end of this week into early next week, and I encourage everyone to register. So we will now proceed to the legislation this month before us. We have introductory number 40, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $94,000 bonds of said city to finance the Carter Street Art Center roof replacement project. Any questions, comments, concerns? Councilmember Patterson.
So always happy to see work and money going into the Northeast. This is a general statement for all of the vast number of these items that are going to be going forward, especially as it related to bond funding and projects that require that have MWBE goals. Maybe I missed it, but on more than one occasion I have asked for the results of what our MWBE goals are. We have goals for design, we have goals for construction, we have goals across the range. And to our staff, if we've gotten it and I missed it, then that's on me. But if we haven't gotten it, what I would like, and it shouldn't be a hard thing to do, is a rolling report of what our MWBE success rate is on every project that has goals. If there's an MWBE goal for design in a project and the project's been designed, you should be able to report out what that MWBE, how close you got, whether you were there or whether you weren't. We need that information in order to fulfill our oversight function. Maybe we're doing a great job, but I can't sit here in good conscience and say that I know that to be true, because I just haven't seen the information. And you may well have presented it, and maybe I missed it, but it's vital that we get that information.
Yep, so thanks for that comment, and certainly willing to provide a response that's responsive to what you're asking in terms of frequency of reporting and what's available when.
Okay.
Chair Patterson, I would just also add that the Vice President has requested a presentation in PPPW to happen next month, and we are, as staff, coordinating that with administration right now.
Great, thank you.
Any additional questions? I entertain a motion.
Move it.
It's been moved.
Anybody else here on this committee?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 41, authorizing an agreement for the Public Safety Building Lobby Floor Replacement Project. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 42, authorizing an agreement for the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park Phase 4 project. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I have a question.
Councilmember Lupien.
So is there any plans in the works to update the lodge at MLK Park?
Commissioner or city engineer?
No, there's no plans to update the lodge at this time.
Okay. And I know one of the issues with MLK Park has been about sightlines, and do we have an idea of in the final project what that will look like from the street level?
That's very much what we want to address in this phase. So as we go through the design process, we'll look strategically at the berms and all the different things that create issues with sightlines.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you.
Any additional questions? Councilmember Gruber.
Thank you. This is very exciting. I think that parks are one of our greatest assets. We have an incredible park system. I also think there's something particularly unique about MLK and the opportunities that we have at that park, just based on its location and the opportunities that it presents, in part with the new neighborhood of play that's popped up there. We can do things there that we can't do at other parks in terms of how we engage the community. And one thing I would just ask, I understand there's probably a lot of work to do around the technical side, the sight lines, all the things that I'd have no ability to comment on. But there's a bunch of things around how we engage community members that I really would love council members to again have an opportunity to talk about in the design process. So I would just say this is not a threat, it's a promise. either engage us some way, or I'm just going to send a ton of emails your way about all the things I've seen at parks that I've always thought to myself would be wonderful that we can't do at a place like GVP or Cobb's, in part because of the way they're structured, where they're physically located. But at MLK, we can, and we should, because we have so many people coming downtown and so much opportunity there. So I hope that we can be engaged in the process some way. If not, just tell me who to send the emails to, and I'll send them your way. Your call either way, all right?
Say to Holly.
All right. The interim commissioner has spoken, Holly. Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move it.
It's been moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 43, amending the official map by abandoning a portion of Blossom Road right-of-way. Public hearing will be held on Thursday, February 20th at 6 p.m. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Move it.
Councilmember Patterson?
Okay. This one just looks goofy. Just explain to us what, because I looked at the picture that the illustration that you guys provided, and it's like there's a gap from the street line that goes back onto the, like, could you just explain this? I mean, yeah, we're voting for it, but just, this one's just really goofy.
I would say that this is residual from a different time and place. So as these different properties interface with our new public right-of-way, some of these old property lines were never historically addressed.
Okay.
So in this instance, they wanted to put in a new fence, and so through that permit process, this discrepancy came to light.
Okay.
So we worked with them to remedy the situation.
Okay. No problem. It just, again, it just looks goofy, and it's just like, well, what do we, so, all right, I'm good.
I entertain a motion.
Move it.
It's been moved.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 44, authorizing the sale of abandoned portion of Blossom Road. Any question, comments, concerns?
Move it.
It's been moved.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 45, appropriating funds and authorizing agreements for the 2024 Preventative Maintenance Project. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Monroe.
Thank you. In looking at this, I see that there are plans for both bike lanes as well as cycle tracks, and I'm wondering what the difference is between the two.
We can provide a little documentation as to the different treatments for bicycle lanes. I think that would be very useful for everyone.
Thank you.
Councilmember Patterson.
Okay, I thought bicycle lanes were in the street and cycle tracks were an extension more or less near the sidewalk. There, you've got, it's that raised space.
Yeah, we also have shared lanes and a variety of other applications.
Right.
So I just thought it would be useful to provide all of the information and then what we're doing specifically on this project.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
It's already been moved and seconded.
It's been moved and seconded?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry about that. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 46, appropriating funds and authorizing an agreement for the 2025 Preventative Maintenance Project. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
So moved.
Councilmember Gruber.
Just one question about all of the preventative maintenance and the next resurfacing and milling. Are there going to be any major street closures with any of this work? And by major, sorry, I don't mean like major is the street major. I mean long periods of time.
We'll get that answer to you. I just want to confirm what we're doing.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Any other questions, comments?
Move it.
It's been moved.
Seconded.
Seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 47. Bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $1,500,000 bonds of said city to finance the 2025 preventative maintenance project for Culver Road, Monroe Avenue to Atlantic Avenue, and University Avenue, North Goodman Street to Culver Road. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Move it.
It's been moved by Councilmember
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 48, resolution authorizing the implementation and funding in the first instance of the 100% of the federal aid and state Marchicelli program aid eligible costs of the Culver Road and University Avenue PM transportation federal aid project and appropriating funds therefore. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
It's been
Second.
moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 49, bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $3,451,000 bonds of said city to finance the 2025 residential milling and resurfacing project. Questions, comments, concerns?
Move it.
It's been
Second.
moved, seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 50, bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $437,000 bonds of said city to finance the 2025 residential milling and resurfacing project. Questions, comments, concerns?
Move it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 51, authorizing a mandatory agreement for the 2025 residential milling and resurfacing project. Questions, comments, concerns?
Move it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 52, resolution endorsing the Rochester Extreme Heat Plan. I will note that we do have a copy of said plan here in front of us, so if you get a chance to dive deeper into that, please do so. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Yeah.
Councilmember Lupien.
How are we communicating this to the public?
Yes, thank you for the question. So the plan is really a blueprint.
Please.
Can you bring the
Maybe just
microphone
get
closer?
closer.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the plan is a blueprint for the city to utilize to communicate extreme heat issues to the public. Part of the plan includes a communication strategy to provide outreach and education to the community on extreme heat, the dangers of extreme heat, and what people can do to help protect themselves, and also programs and opportunities that may be available to alleviate extreme heat.
Thank you. Are we considering the plan itself, letting the community know that we have a plan?
Yeah, so the plan will be posted on our website, and we will also be providing it to our neighborhood service centers.
Okay. Thank you.
Any additional questions,
Yep.
comments? Councilmember Gruber.
Thanks. Two things. First of all, this is a really beautifully done plan, so kudos to everyone who put work into it. I would like to ask, though, moving forward, if we're going to be asked to approve a plan, I'd love to have more than the 2 weeks of the council cycle for it. That could be our decision to choose to hold something, but I also don't really like to hold things more than the administration wants for unnecessary reasons. So it would be great to just get these things in advance and be told, hey, this is coming in the February cycle. I like to read things and read them twice sometimes, and I just don't always get the time to do so. So that's just an ask first and foremost. Second of all, are we going to have a similar plan for extreme cold? Is that a requirement from the DEC?
So we don't have any plans to develop an extreme cold plan. This particular plan was part of the Climate Smart Communities Program grant that specifically encourages communities to develop extreme heat plans due to the higher incidence of extreme heat events due to climate change. It's certainly something, an extreme cold plan is certainly something we could look into.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, from what I have read, I don't think it would be all that difficult to turn this into an extreme cold plan. There's some differences, but there's some similarities, and a lot of it's about communication, which is going to, I assume if Fred were here, he would say would probably be the same regardless of if it's hot or cold. And it just seems like if we have this plan, we may as well build off of it, knowing what we're experiencing outside the last couple of weeks. Thank you.
Any additional? Councilmember Lupien.
Yeah, I've brought up before the concept of climate resilience hubs, and they're really important in terms of just disseminating information and preparedness and becoming shelters in the event of extreme weather. And I wonder if we have any update on if that's something that we've been looking into.
Happy to respond in writing.
Thank you.
Good response.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Move it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 53, authorizing an agreement related to evaluation of the person in crisis team. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Lupien, followed by Councilmember Gruber.
So, this microphone is much louder than I'm used to. The legislation that was passed a few months ago regarding reports that would need to be published, it seems that this would be covered under that, and so can we expect to see the finished report? Patrick?
Yes, the report will be published.
Great, wonderful. Thank you.
Councilmember Gruber.
Yeah, thank you. I don't often question the administration's choice in vendors, but I am particularly curious in this regard why we chose someone from out of Rochester. I presume there's a lot of conversations that we want to have in person with folks, and we've got some very capable applicants from Rochester. I'm curious the deciding factor there.
Sarah, you want to respond to that, please?
Yeah, so out of the proposals that we received, this was, they had the most experience evaluating programs similar to the person in crisis team, and so we really liked that specifically. The panel also decided that it might actually be a good thing to have someone not from Rochester evaluate the team, to come sort of look at the team with fresh eyes, and really give us a really kind of objective view of what's going on with PIC.
And they will be coming to Rochester.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, I guess the challenge is they'll probably come to Rochester once, twice over the course of it, and if we had a place that was local, there'd be a lot more in-person conversation. Obviously, that's something that can be navigated, but it sounds like the most compelling reason, just to make sure I understand, Deputy Commissioner, it is number one, that there was an interest in having someone who's not been involved in kind of local alternative response, and number two, they have more expertise in alternative response elsewhere.
Yes.
I would actually say it was the opposite. I think number one was the experience evaluating teams, and then secondarily, because they had the most experience, we were thinking it would be good that they came with fresh eyes.
Got it. Could you provide an example, if you need to follow up, that's fine, but an example or two of other programs, other municipalities that these folks have reviewed?
Yes, we can respond in writing.
And is the report that they're going to provide, are they answering a particular set of questions that DRISE is asking, or are they doing a kind of general review and providing a more generalized report?
So we outlined the scope of what they would be looking at in the transmittal. That came from the RFP. We haven't finalized the agreement, so we could certainly kind of look at the agreement in a different way, or add things or take away things. But yeah, I think it's going to be more of the former, with us saying we are interested in looking at these things.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Move it.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So I have two quick things. One, I just want to, before we wrap, commend the administration on the Rochester Animal Services Forum that happened last week. I think it was important to share information with the public on what is currently happening and what the plans are for the animal shelter. And I wanted to note that it is my opinion and actually fact, based on conversations with all 9 council members, or including myself in my own head, over the last year or so, that this council is prepared to invest and act on improvements at the animal shelter. So as opportunities arise and as the administration prepares to put out bids for improvements that are necessary, as well as some desires, we're hopeful that you'll present those to council if there is a gap of some kind, that we can have conversations around that. So thank you again for that. And then Councilmember Lupien does have a question.
Yeah, on the subject of reports, when can we expect to see the final report from the Law Enforcement Action Partnership?
We'll respond in writing with the timeline.
Thank you.
Just one final jump off from there. That report is completed, though, the Law Enforcement Action Partnership report?
Yep.
Great, thank you. All right, with no further business before this committee, we stand adjourned.